Today's episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by Jeanette McKenzie, Realtor at Forest Hill Signature, Jewelry Forever at jewelryforever.ca, and Beautified by Romina. Enjoy the show.
Broadcasting live from Glenmore Record Studios in Toronto, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, your Sunday morning talk show with interesting guests, live musical performances, and the most fun you can fit in your coffee cup. Hosted by Scott Dion Brown and Regine Alaina, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 286 of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown. I am exhausted.
I bet.
I'm going on 3 hours of sleep.
Ooh, love that for you.
But I am also your host, the one, the only, Scott Dion Brown. And I'm joined by the greatest co-host in all the galaxy, the one, the only,
Regine Alaina. Happy Sunday, everyone. We are officially in October.
We are in October.
Isn't that crazy?
Spooky month is upon us.
Thankful month is upon us.
Thankful. Oh,
Because
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. If you're in Canada, Thanksgiving is next weekend.
Yes.
If you're viewing from America, yes, we know it's in November.
Yeah, but real Thanksgiving is in October.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm tired.
I bet. Why are you so tired, Scott?
So I was on set last night. And but it was a night shoot.
Okay.
My call time was 9:30 p.m. I got out of there at 2:30 p.m. 2:30 a.m. and I was shooting in Kingston, Ontario. So I had to drive. Well, they drove me back 3-hour drive.
Yikes.
And now I'm
Tired.
I'm here. I got in bed by 6 in the morning and then got up. So here I am, Regine.
That's wild. Well, thanks for still making it out, Scott.
Of course, I can never miss the sit down, Regine.
You know how I know you're tired and didn't get enough sleep? You have a whole strip of deodorant on your
Oh, is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah.
I know. No, that's not. I planned that. That's a feature.
Totes.
I
It's part of the merch, right?
yeah. It's part of the merch. Yeah, this was a design. This is a design. Okay, let's bring in our guest, and then we can talk about the week. I also want to talk about. There's so much to talk about, and then we have to talk about things with the guest as well.
Yes, of course.
Our guest today is a filmmaker, writer, director, producer as well sometimes. Writer, director, producer.
And a spooky season lover.
Spooky season lover. Perfect. That's the main reason we had him
Yeah.
on. Absolutely. Everybody, please welcome to the sit down, Andrea D'Amario. Hello.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Welcome.
Happy to be here.
Welcome to the show. Glad you were available. In fact, it actually worked out perfectly. So we didn't meet, but we saw each other at the Toronto Indie Horror Fest that happened this week.
On Thursday.
On Thursday, yeah. It actually ran October 1st to 4th, but we were both
Okay.
we both had films in the festival screening on the same night. And I saw your film, really liked it, really good.
Thank you very much.
And I was like, oh, we don't have a guest this Sunday. So I reached out on Instagram, and you were like, oh yeah, I'd love to come on, but unfortunately I'm only available this Sunday.
I love that for us.
Yeah. I was like, perfect. That's perfect. So it was really good.
Yeah, it was great timing. Really
Yeah.
great timing. Yeah, I was scared you're gonna be like, oh yeah, how about in 2 weeks? And I'm like, sorry, I'm away. But yeah, really worked out.
Worked out
That's
perfect.
awesome.
It
So-
worked out perfect.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your film that Scott had the privilege of watching.
Of course, yeah. So I'm a filmmaker, like Scott said. Been working in the industry, I guess, for the last 5 years. Started just before
awesome.
COVID. I feel like every year it's like, oh wow, you're making so much ground. You're doing a lot of progress, but then it's always you feel like you're always at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So this is probably my biggest film that I've done yet. Had a crew of 20 plus people on it, so that was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah, usually everything else is just all my shorts have been really small, small crew DIY kind of things. This felt like a legit
Legit set.
A legit set, yeah. So it was really cool to be a part of. But yeah, the short was about two friends who decided to summon a demon live streaming on TikTok because they're trying to go viral. So it was a fun little short.
Yeah, it was the concept was really cool. And so you are you wrote this film,
Yeah.
and
Produced
directed
it.
it, produced it. You were kind of
Wearing many hats, yeah.
yeah.
Were you in it?
No, I was not in it. No, I'm,
Okay,
I'm
not
a
that
behind
hat,
I'm a
not that
behind
hat.
the camera kind of person. This is something new for me.
Oh. Is this your first podcast?
First podcast ever, yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, welcome.
Thank you for I'm glad we're honored.
Yeah.
I'm honored. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about I guess where did the concept. So the name of the film, did we say is it's called The Poem?
The poem, yeah.
Right. So you wrote it. Where did the idea come from? Where did the concept come from? How'd you come up with it?
See, that's a very interesting question. So when I was in film school during COVID, I ended up dropping out. So my original premise for it was going to be my thesis film.
Got it.
Okay.
Didn't end up happening, obviously. And then last summer, I decided to go back to that script because I liked the concept, but I
Yeah.
completely scrapped it and wrote it completely from scratch. It was just kind of based on like people on TikTok doing stupid things to go viral.
Yeah.
Like the Tide Pod challenge. I've
Yeah.
seen people let's jump off a speeding boat and see what happens to go viral. Like just that playing on that kind of thing. And I was like, I love supernatural stuff. I love horror stuff. So I was like, I feel like people would be dumb enough to try to summon a demon. And if it was a trend, it was like a Bloody Mary type of thing.
Yeah.
So if it's a trend, let's go viral. Let's try to summon a demon and see what happens. I feel like it'd be something that people today would do. So
It is something that people would do.
It's
Especially around this time of year.
yeah. It's actually right. Yeah. I mean, what I like about I've heard this before, where horror kind of is really good for it's a very good vehicle for like satire in terms of like pointing a lens at society. And I feel like this film is very much like it's very relevant to like right now.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just I mean, I don't know. I remember there was a couple that like people for starters in lots of these things people like die sometimes. I remember there was one where people said someone got shot because they decided they were going to try to hold a book. Did you hear about that one?
Yeah.
And the other person was going to shoot through the book to see if the
book
bullet.
would-
That's so stupid.
Well, the guy literally just died. Like he just died.
Did they
So,
go viral? I guess so.
It went
Yeah.
viral. Yeah.
it tends to.
It's
Yeah.
funny though because you and I were just talking right before we were on air, being like, "Oh, how was your night?" I'm like, "Oh, I was up till 1 a.m. scrolling on TikTok, not knowing the premise of your film."
That's so funny.
I would never try any of those trends, but specifically yours.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
So anyway, the concept's very right now, very happening. So
Very trendy.
I guess I don't know if we want to say. Obviously, we're not going to do any spoilers or anything like
Yeah.
that with the movie. But I guess do you want to talk a little bit about the demon they tried to? I'm curious. Like the demon they tried to summon, was that your own creation or was that based on something or?
So it was mostly my own creation. That was kind of the idea. But I wanted to basically make my own version of like a Bloody Mary or like a Ouija board kind of idea. So I did research on like all these different things. Like there's like the elevator game. There's I can't remember. It's like the left-right game where you just drive on the road and just make a left and then a right and then a left and then apparently you show up on like a paranormal road. I don't know. So I kind of did research on all those like urban legends and like those kind of games, and I was like, how can we make this relevant for or easy to do in a live stream format? That was kind of the idea.
Yeah,
Fair.
makes sense.
So, saying a poem to summon a demon, lighting some candles, I felt like it's cinematic, but it's also, it gives you that kind of, we can sit in a room and just sit there and hope that something pops up.
Less budget too.
Exactly, yeah.
Budget friendly. So your film is in this festival that you two are just currently in. Is it going to be in any festivals coming up, or can people watch it somewhere?
I'm waiting to hear back from, I think, 1 or 2 more festivals,
Okay.
and I'm waiting to hear back from like an online distributor.
Oh,
But
okay.
my goal is to have it out this month. That is the idea. So it's literally just a waiting game. If I get into 1 more festival, it would be pushed to probably November
Got it.
for a release. But my idea since I started the process was to have it out in October for spooky season, right? So
Fair.
yeah.
Are you a fan of spooky season?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if they can
I mean,
see
your
that.
shirt.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of like scary movies. I think the first scary movie I saw was probably with like my mom or my dad. It was either Scream or like I Know What You Did Last Summer. So, you know, as a kid watching stuff like that, I always loved like the, you know, Halloween season on like Disney or like Nickelodeon
So
or
you're like
whatever.
a Goosebumps kid.
Yeah, I loved Goosebumps. Yeah. It all stems from Goosebumps.
Got
right?
it. Of course it does. That's probably why I don't like
Yeah.
spooky.
You scared of Goosebumps?
Well, it's like, you know, like when you're a kid and then Goosebumps would come on, I'm like, okay, it's time to change the channel. That was just how I was.
Yeah, I like Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm
good.
not, I was never one to be spooked. Like going to that film festival with you in Coburg, I was terrified. I'm like, am I ready for this kind of spookiness? There's a lot of pep talk going into it. Scott's like, you'll be fine. There's nothing. I'm like, are you sure?
Was this short your
First?
no, you made other shorts, but was this one your first? Were your previous ones horror as well?
Every single short I've done so far, like directed, is horror. I've written some stuff that's not horror, and it's kind of just finding the right time to do it. And I'm always like, yeah, let's try to step out from horror, let's do something else. And then I think of a concept or I'll see something on TikTok, and I'm like, oh, this is actually really cool. Let's try to play off something like that. And then horror just keeps circling its way back to me.
It goes from rom-com to horror.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
It
Cool, though.
only takes one little step to happen in the movie to make it a
Exactly.
rom-com into a horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
It only
Oh,
takes
100%.
one
I mean,
bit.
isn't that how most horror films are? Like they start
I mean,
as
yeah,
a love story and then something happens.
That's true.
Right?
That is very true.
I don't watch them. That was just an uneducated guess.
It always starts so promising.
Right?
Yep. So I like to ask about this because I've like my film storage room B. Like I haven't even really. I don't know if it is a horror film. Like it's.
You
I
seen
don't.
it? What do you think?
I don't think it was that. I don't know. I don't find it very scary personally.
There's a lot of jump scare in it.
There's a little bit, I guess, but I think it's kind of more of a. I think it's more of a sometimes even a comedy in some ways when you're following this couple. But like, so when I was making the movie, I wasn't as I'm shooting. I'm like, I don't know if people will find this scary or not. But I was curious your perspective in terms of like when you're shooting your stuff, like, how do you go about like, I don't know, because I know when you're on set, for example, like it doesn't usually feel scary when you're there, right? You're working and I find especially a lot of horror stuff, it tends to be pretty fun sets.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? So like as you're working on it, like what are things now that I guess you've made several films now. It's like, how do you, I don't know, how do you make it scary or yeah, tell me a bit about the process of just kind of creating a movie that's got to impact people in that way.
Of course. Well, I feel like in general, horror is kind of like a spectrum, right? So I feel like you can have those horror comedies like Shaun of the Dead, for example, where it's not really scary, but you have that horror feeling, right?
Yeah.
So I think with your film, for example, I think I would still say it's definitely a horror film, and there's some moments where it's scary, but it's a spectrum. I would classify it like, you know, horror comedy. It was a really fun, like I liked your film. It was a really fun premise. I thought it was really interesting. But even on set, like you said, it's usually like a really fun set life and trying to get people to get into that. Most people were into ours. There's like a scene towards the end of the film, which you saw. I'm not going to spoil it. But there's a specific scene in the bedroom. I'll just put it that way.
Yep.
I remember when we were shooting that, everyone was kind of surrounding the monitor. Everyone wanted to see how that first reveal was going to look.
Yeah.
So, and everyone was just like all giddy, and the entire day, everyone was just excited for that one specific point. So I think horror sets in general are just really fun. I remember my very first short, I knew nothing about making film, absolutely. And I had like my friend of mine who's a singer, Mimika. She was like the main actress in it, and I wanted to do like a play on like a slasher, but it was like a 10-minute one take.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
So I'm still happy with that short. It's not great, but it's fun to watch.
Wait, what's a 10-minute one take mean?
So
no, it's
no cuts. Yes, there's no cuts at all. It's just the camera's constantly moving. I wanted it to feel like it was happening in real time. I wanted it to feel like you're just watching someone get chased
Got it.
for real. And she hates horror stuff too. But what I did was, she was basically, the whole point was she was watching a movie and she was waiting for her friend to come over for a movie night. And I just was playing scary movies on the TV the entire night just to really get her scared. That was kind of the idea. She hates that stuff. So I was like, how can I get her into the character of, you know, someone's about to break in and try to murder you? So I just just kept playing all
Oh,
horror
you're
movies on the
so
TV.
mean.
And the thing is, she had to sit there and watch it because that was the whole point of her character. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so that's what I did for my very first one to get people like scared and into that kind of feel.
Like you actually scared the actress.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the idea.
It's
like-
like method acting almost.
Exactly. In a safe way. No,
No one actually.
no one actually was getting murdered, but
She didn't know that.
why is this camera in my face? That's
So it's 10. So it's about 10 minutes of one long take.
yeah.
Wow, that's gotta be. I feel
That
like
must make
It
your
was
editing
ambitious
so
for
much
a first
easy,
short
though.
film.
a lot of planning.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But like I said, I knew nothing about film at the time, so it's very, very DIY, very amateur looking. But it was a good first
You
experience,
gotta,
right?
You got to start. Yeah, you just got to start somewhere. You gotta
Exactly,
get up there and
yeah.
Make it. That's really cool. Actually, I wanted to ask you a bit about casting. So, 2 actors in your film.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit because like casting, it's so important. Getting the right people, the wrong person in the role, it really can impact everything. So, you can tell me a bit about the cast in this film, and then we can talk a bit about like what type of process you go doing when you're casting your films.
Of course, yeah. So both my cast members, they're upcoming actors, kind of idea. It was a very low budget shoot, so I basically scoured all the different Facebook groups and whatever, trying to find actors, posted casting calls. My process was kind of send them a chunk of the script that I thought related the most to their character to see if they can really embody that character, and I just send in the self tapes. So I got really lucky that these 2 specifically, they both blew me away. They both really fit their characters really well. And it's funny because the one who plays Blake, his name is Nick Patel. He was really great in the film. He told me that he usually plays more of the Ryan character, which is like the nice, soft-spoken, scaredy cat kind of guy. So he was like, I was really excited that you thought I was more of this kind of like douchey, that kind of idea. So I was like, yeah, I thought you played the role really well. Not to say that you are that, but you did it really well. So I thought you fit the character. And he's like, yeah, so it's cool to step out of that box. But watching him on screen, you wouldn't think it was his first time playing a character like that. Like I thought he fit the role really well. So I got really lucky in that regard. And they were both really receptive. They just wanted to just, learn and talk and figure out stuff as much as possible. And yeah, they were really great through the whole process. So I got lucky. Their self-tapes both kind of blew me away, and then I kind of just had a call with each of them just to kind of see. I want to see if I can get along with them too. You want the set
Chemistry's
vibe
important,
to exactly. You want the set vibe to be strong and cohesive. You want everyone to be having fun on set with the same kind of vision. So that's kind of where it went, and they both were super receptive. As soon as we're on the call, they're like, "Yeah, if you want me on, I'm super in." So I got really lucky, to be honest.
Love that.
Sweet. So the auditions were all
All
basically Zoom
self-taped.
auditions.
Yeah, Zoom auditions. Yeah.
Even for your past 5 or past 4?
Most of my other ones. So my first, I think 3 were just friends and family kind of idea.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I did one. It was like ongoing pandemic. It was 2021. We shot 2020. I think we shot it summer of 2020. And I did the same Facebook group casting tape. So it was my first time actually casting, and it was just a single actor. He had to play off by himself. So that one was a trickier process because it's just the one character. He was a vlogger, so I'm playing with the social media stuff a lot in the last 2 shorts, anyways.
That's fine.
But yeah, so that one was an interesting process. But this one was my first actually having 2 characters interacting with each other. It was my first short doing that. So that was a very interesting process and trying to kind of figure out how I can get everything to work properly. I needed them to act like they were best friends, right? They've been friends forever. So
Yeah.
I need to find that.
Well, how does that happen? Like, you're an actor, and you were just on set yesterday.
I was.
Because it could have been like, yes, you wanted to cast someone that you got along with, but making sure that they have chemistry with the other person without them even meeting until they're on set. Like, how does that work, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is sometimes you can just see it. Like sometimes it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just doesn't. I guess you just have to be, again, the way like, for example, in my film, George Ruby, they didn't get to meet each other beforehand. I was actually, because we auditioned pre-pandemic.
Oh, okay.
So I did in-person auditions, and I really liked it. In fact, that's why I was almost, like, during COVID, everything switched to, obviously, online auditions. So, in In fact, I actually just had my first in-person audition on Friday, and it was my first one in years.
Oh, wow.
So it was kind of crazy. But finding the chemistry, I mean, ideally what you would do is in the callbacks, you'd bring in your people who you want to be together and run it, but that's not always possible
Were
depending on
you able to
budget.
do that?
So I wasn't able to do that. It was a lot of, we're all in different areas, and trying to find time between work and whatever to get everyone together was, I found, pretty difficult.
Yeah.
But we scheduled a bunch of Zoom calls together. So at least I can see them play off each other and how they would interact. So we talked, like we had Zoom calls together for probably months, just talking and just trying to get to know each other. I wanted to build that camaraderie.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I think it plays out well on screen. I think they seemed believable enough. So that was
they seem like buds,
Besties.
like
Yeah.
good buds. Yeah. So basically, what you did was you kind of
You forced them to be friends.
Exactly.
They're friends. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Actually, you know what? It's interesting in my film. It almost worked out that because I always imagine that they're kind of a mismatched pair in mind, because in my film, I'm not going to talk about the ending, but when they meet, they don't know each other. So I was actually realizing, I'm like, even if it's a little awkward in the beginning,
They build.
I'm okay with that because it is awkward. They don't know each other.
Yeah.
So I was okay with them. Like, these are two people that wouldn't have really met if not for the zombies.
exactly.
So it worked. But I think if I was actually, I would really want to, do something like what you did, is like really get them talking, get them knowing each other, so that you can feel that comfort level.
Exactly. Yeah. Put two people in a room and just say, "Be friends, please."
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're good actors, then they'll be good acting as friends,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Even if they don't like each other.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, ideally, you just like
We don't like each
Act-
other.
just act like you like each other. Yeah, the
I'm not an actor. He
cameras
is.
turn off. We're just like, see you next week.
Bye.
Yeah,
Put me on that couch.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
how was the festival, though?
yeah.
The festival was really cool. It was like, a small DIY kind of festival. You can tell that people there really liked horror movies, so that was really cool. I thought it was an interesting time. What did you think, Scott?
Yeah, I would agree. I had no idea what to expect, and like I'd never been there before. So it was held at. So yeah, like we shout out the festival, Toronto Indie Horror Fest. Chris, I think, who runs
Chris,
it.
Yeah.
And it's run out of Eyesore Cinema, which is like a really cool, kind of creepy, kind of like, really unique, like indie video rental store, right? You can rent stuff there. I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a rental store?
Yeah, they have rentals and purchase, but like, but it's the kind of place where you're gonna go there and you're gonna see movies that like you won't find anywhere else, like rare films and like cool decor on the wall and like slasher picture posters and like it's just a cool
So like
spot.
the perfect spot for a horror film fest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was great. And then at the back of this store, you go through a curtain and you're in this little screening room. And it's not a giant room. It's got, I'm not sure how many people, 40?
Yeah, I would say about 40. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, but yeah, they got the projector and it's just sort of everything you need to watch
Well, there you go.
weird movies. Basically what it was. And yeah, no, it was awesome. It was, I also didn't know, like, I have been to a couple festivals or, where you get there and it's like, oh, okay, it's basically just like me and like one other person here. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that's cool. I'm not gonna say which because that's not nice.
Damn
But this one was not that. Like I walked in and I was like, oh, this place is almost full. Like this is a good crowd.
Yeah.
So that was
For
nice.
Thursday night, too.
Yeah.
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 Nice.
And other pictures I've seen, it looks like, all the nights seem to be pretty
consistent.
well attended.
Nice.
So I think it's like I don't know, it must have like it's like cult following
Yeah,
or
right.
something going on. So it's like the perfect type of crowd you want, like type of person who's like they're there, they like horror and they're there to see it.
Yeah, exactly. They'll appreciate what they're about to see. Yeah.
I'm like looking at your shirt, and I know someone that would love that shirt. So I want to know, where did you get it?
So I got this at the Midsummer Scream Horror Convention in LA. Because my short actually played there. They have a festival as a part of the convention.
Oh,
So my short,
cool.
that was like where the world premiere was at that convention. So that was
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool.
So it's my little memento from that convention. Yeah.
Very spooky season
That's sweet.
appropriate. But I'm sure it's always spooky season.
It's
for
always
you.
spooky season in my house. Yeah. My parents don't like to think so. My girlfriend's finally starting to get into it, but
So I hope your girlfriend is ready for like a Halloween-esque
Oh,
wedding if it ever happens.
I don't know about that. I'd like to say I'm a horror fan, but I'm not too out there.
You're not on the dark side.
Yeah, not
too
on the dark
much.
side. No,
Got it.
yeah.
I love that. Well, we do have a bunch of viewers who are watching. And I did put in the chat that if you do have any questions, please get involved. We love when it does get interactive with our audience. So if you have any questions,
for our
comments,
guest,
leave them in the chats below.
Yeah. That festival that it premiered at, so it was at a convention, you said?
Yeah.
Because that sounds like, because my last film screened at Dragon Con. It was the same idea. So it's like, so is it this festival was like a lot of cosplayers and all that kind of stuff walking around?
Yeah, it was crazy. The costumes were like Hollywood quality, like they were really well done. It's it was a really big convention. Like a lot of cool like horror icons and celebrities were down there.
Awesome.
And then they in one of the rooms they had the festival, so you have that whole kind of experience. Same idea. You have all those horror lovers in a room. It's people who are going to appreciate that kind of those films. They're there for horror, right? So it was a cool spot to like have it premiere.
And a really packed room.
It was packed. Yeah, it was cool. Really great films there. Like it was a really cool experience. I would definitely recommend submitting there or going there. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Nice.
What was it one more time?
So the convention was the Midsummer Scream Horror Convention, and then the festival I think was called the Screaming Room Film Festival. So it was cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Another place you will not find me.
But it was so. Yeah, I remember when, at Dragon Con. It wasn't my first festival for that film. It was like, it might have been the second. But I remember like the previous festival was like, it was pretty good, okay. And then I remember like this place, for starters, I'd never been to any type of convention before. I don't know if
this was like my second time, I think, ever.
Yeah. It's like such a unique environment. Like it's so, like you said, Hollywood quality costumes walking around, and like it just kind of does that.
Those
okay, there we go. It's coming back. There we go. We're back.
Perfect.
Internet went down for a moment. People on YouTube, hi, we're back. And I was just saying, as I remember, I was waiting at the screening room, and I look, and I was like, there was just a line of people like sitting all the way down the wall, and I'm like, is this for the film festival? They were like, yeah. I was like, whoa. And I remember I was nervous. I'm like, there's a huge crowd of people who are about to see my film. It was really shocking, but it was so like everyone was there for. Like my film the first was a sci-fi movie. This was a sci-fi crowd, so it's like it's like the exact people you want to see your film are there, and they're excited to see, exactly what you're. It's such a cool feeling.
That's probably the most nerve-wracking feeling too. I remember even for this one, watching it for the first time with a crowd is like the scary. I don't get over it though. Every time I've watched it with a crowd since, I'm always like sitting there. I'm just like so tense and so scared, but it's always
like that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, yeah. In fact, actually, I
didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no,
totally okay.
Sorry.
I wanted to ask you about, because one thing that happened with both of my films actually is from the time it started its festival run to its end, my film lost about 4 minutes of runtime, and what I found was because like the first time I screened it somewhere, I was like, it's interesting because I'm watching the audience is watching the movie, and I'm like watching the audience, right? And I noticed like, there's a part of the beginning where when I wrote it, I thought this was really important exposition, but it's kind of just dragging, and I can see the audiences. I don't have them, right?
They start pulling out their phones.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully not, but you just notice like you don't feel like when an audience is hooked, you can kind of feel like everybody's just like in, like that moment like if you're watching something really good, you kind of like. You forget you're watching, and you're just staring at it. You know what I mean? You may not even be blinking. And I noticed that like there's a point in my film where I'm like, I think I've got them from here, but up until here it was like draggy. And so I noticed like at several festivals, it's like, okay, yeah, this part, and I would like chop a little bit out of it. So I was curious, like, do you have anything like that, or do you
with this one
edit as you go, or even previous ones or whichever? Yeah.
With this one, I haven't really done that. It was a pretty. Like from shooting it to editing it, everything, even scripting it, like the script, obviously everything changes as you go along and making the film. But it was pretty much like once we shot for the edit in a sense, like when my editor got a hold of the footage, he's like, that was the easiest edit I've ever had in my life. Cause it was just everything that was meant to be there was kind of there. And then sure, we would trim some stuff or trim some fat, but over the festival run, I've had that same kind of feeling where it's like, are people into it here? And then it's something, then, they start saying the poem and everyone, I feel like I can kind of see the tone switch and everyone's like, oh, something's about to happen.
Yeah.
But in a sense, I'm like, I kind of want them to be like, what am I watching at the beginning? Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
To then kind of hit them in the face with, oh, this is about to happen, you know? So I didn't trim anything off the festival run, but I was keeping notes for future stuff where it's like, okay, I can kind of see where I can improve, right? That's kind of every time you make a movie, right? You always want to improve the next one. So that's kind of the idea.
Well, you're working on yours right now.
Yeah, I shot my third short. I shot it a few weeks ago.
Oh, very nice.
And actually, in fact, you again mentioned talking about how you learning from the previous experience is like, because I remembered, like, I think my writing is just getting a little bit tighter now. In that, like, I noticed that I don't think I'm going to need to hack as much out this time.
Yeah.
And just because I kind of, you're kind of learning from it as you go. But one thing I did that I've never done before is after I wrote the script, I set up like just my camcorder, and I sat in front of it and I like read through the whole script, kind of like both parts, and then I like mirror imaged one of the characters, so it kind of looks like you're talking to the person, and then I basically edited the film with some just YouTube background music, right? So that I'd never done that before, but I wanted to try to have to avoid that later on, like, oh, this doesn't work, this works. So I wanted to almost have a sense of what was the flow before I even got there. So when we got to actually shooting day, I kind of already had seen the movie that I was making.
That makes sense.
So
that's actually that's a great idea. I got to think about that for the next thing I write. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, it was just a way to kind of like make the movie before you spend any money on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I am going to do it every time now. It just gives you a sense of that timing. And I was hoping I would find any like things that don't need to be there in that moment.
Did you?
So, actually, interestingly, the script itself, I'm trying to think, did I actually make any script changes? I don't think I did, actually, because I noticed, like, I wrote this one over time, and I think by the time I got it to that point, like, I kept reading it over again, and then I'd edit it and reading it, and it was when I finally read it through and was like, oh, okay, that flowed pretty good. Where I didn't feel like I needed to go back and change anything. That's when I started thinking about making it. So, but yeah, I should ask you about your writing process then. It's like, so how do you write? Because, okay, so I'll say for example, me, I generally can't really write until I know where I'm going, say, with the ending. Once I have my ending, I can kind of build towards it. But I've talked to other writers who, like, they may not even know where they're going when they start. So I'm just curious, what's your writing process like?
I think, I'm kind of the similar boat as you. I kind of know or need to know where it's going, and then it's kind of finding your way there, right? That's kind of the way I look at it. So whenever I come up with a concept, it usually is the concept and the ending right after. Like, I kind of know exactly how it's going to end or how I want it to play out. Yeah, it's always a very interesting process. Like, for the shorts, it's kind of, I'll jot it down. I have like just a specific notebook for writing my movie ideas out. So I'll have like one page where it's just jot notes of just like a couple ideas of things that I want to see happen, and then we do like a full breakdown in the journal. I break it down point by point, kind of where I think the whole story is going to go, and then going into the script, writing it from there. But the script is always it's the scariest part. You're on page one and you see the icon, the clicker just flashing, and you're just like, oh, I have the whole story written out in front of me, but I don't know where to start. Yeah. So, usually I start with the ending and kind of work my way towards it, or like I'll have an opening and a closing, and then I kind of see. It's got to connect the dots. Yeah.
I'm curious. So, since you're both filmmakers, writers, all that, what are your thoughts on AI and people easily creating something from nothing through a computer's brain?
It's a good question. So
that's
I think
your next short.
Yeah, it's the dangers of AI. I think AI in general can be useful in some ways. Do I think AI is any way creative? No. Do I think you should be using AI to write a script from top to bottom? Absolutely not. But like for me, for example, I'll use it to kind of play ideas off of off of it, just to kind of see, like, I'll ask it a question, it'll come back to me, and I'll say, that's interesting. I'm not, even if I'm at work and I'm writing an email or something, I'll use AI, and I'm not going to take it verbatim, but I'm like, okay, I can kind of see why that's a lot better than the email that I wrote, and I'll kind of take pieces of that. But I think AI can be a useful tool, but I think for a creative aspect, I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
Fair.
Yeah, I think I generally agree. I'm scared of it. I'm scared of it because I agree with you in the sense that, like, yes, I think it's a very good tool for exactly what you described. I was even imagining stuff like, in fact, I was actually chatting on the way back from shooting yesterday. I was talking with one of the other people on the crew about this, and I was in my own mind, I was like, I could see myself. Let's say I shot a scene in front of a green screen, and I know that scene's going to be shot outside.
Yeah.
Right. Could I use AI to generate me a sky? Right? Like I could write generate me a sky. I could even say generate me like an angry looking sky.
Yep.
Right? And then I could have it generate mountains. I could have it generate a forest. I could have it generate the entire background, right? And my worry is, one, I would want to be careful that, like, at what point am I now reliant and also kind of like letting the art become, you know. And I think if I start to use it, and I actually haven't really touched any of the tools myself, but if I started to, I feel like I could find a point where I would start to feel, okay, no, I wouldn't use this.
Yeah.
My fear about AI, though, is that there are going to be, and already are, people with, like, no real thoughts about artistic integrity or, like, the importance of film. They're just like, I know how I can make a lot of money.
AI.
You know? Yeah, and that's...
Create this 10-page script for me regarding...
Well, the thing is, I think the thing I'm worried about more is not even that. I'm worried about them using prompts to, like, create a movie for me. You know what I mean? And that's coming because AI video is already here. And right now we're seeing these weird-looking videos and doing stuff. But, like, how long is it before...
Till they fix it.
Put in your prompts, you know, get it to analyze 100 years of film history, and then output an action movie starring Harrison Ford where this happens.
Yeah.
And here's your movie. And I feel like, I don't know. I'm scared of it in that regard, whereas, like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's a scary thought to think about. I remember one of my old marketing managers that I worked with, he said he can envision that kind of whole thing where it's Netflix, but you just kind of input the movie you want to watch.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah, I want to see Harrison Ford fighting snakes on a plane doing, you know, something else.
Yeah.
And it'll generate. And I'm like, that's a horrifying thought. But I think there are people who would be interested in watching something like that or experiencing that. But I think most humans, anyways, would want to see actual art created by actual people. You would hope that kind of, you know, people would want to appreciate real art.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I was just curious.
You know what actually makes me worried is that I like to think that, I know that there are people that love film, and I don't think those people ever go away.
Yeah.
My worry is, like, for example, right now, there are kids who get just as much entertainment value out of watching a random dude on TikTok than they do from any movie or TV show, right? Yeah. And if you give them the choice, you could give them all the options. You can watch Netflix right now. You can watch our entire Blu-ray collection. You have all of it, or you can watch TikTok, right? A lot of kids are going to pick TikTok.
Because their attention span is not movies.
Yeah. It's like, will they even want to watch a 2-hour film, right? And then the thing that makes me worried is, like, the thing about the prompts is, like, one day you're going to be able to, like, upload a picture of you, upload a picture of, like, your crush at school, and be like, give me a movie where this person goes on an adventure and rescues this person and they end up together at the end.
Yeah.
And I can see people being like, that's my entertainment tonight. Boom. And I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a scary thought.
Yep.
Speaking of horror films, but you know what's not scary, Scott?
Our advertisers? Okay, yeah, let's do our ad break. Great transition. Okay, yes. Let's do the ad break, and then we got more with Andrea here. Ladies and gentlemen, today's episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by the following fantastic advertisers. They make this show possible. Let's meet them. The Toronto real estate market is growing and changing every day. In these challenging times, you need someone in your corner. Jeanette McKenzie, Realtor at Forest Hill Signature, is committed to looking out for you. She'll go the extra mile to ensure you have all the information you need to make a decision you can feel confident about. Purchasing a home is one of the biggest financial investments you'll make in life. Don't leave it to chance. Call Jeanette McKenzie at Forest Hill Signature. She's my realtor, and she could be yours. Call today at 416-523-0408 or email at jmckenziehomes@gmail.com. Jewelry forever. Conveniently located at CF Markville Shopping Center on 5000 Highway 7 East, Markham. They do custom-made jewelry, repairs, they change watch batteries, and they have custom laser engraving. All done on site. Jerry at Jewelry Forever is an incredible artist. Do you have a vision for something custom you'd like made? Something you need repaired? I saw him repair a ring that got crushed by a car. He brought it back to life. So you can go there, and we have a great deal worked out with them, don't we, Regine?
Yes, we do. If you go in and let them know that Scott and Regine sent you, you'll get 15% off your entire purchase.
That's right, 15% off, 15%. Mention the show. Get a great deal. And get something special for the special person in your life. Find out more at jewelryforever.ca. Also follow them on Instagram and TikTok. Beautified by Romina.
Internationally trained hair and makeup artist. She is the official makeup artist of The Sit Down, as well as for Scott's short films.
That's right. She was.
She also does hair and makeup for events that we've emceed in. She does hair and makeup for pageants, weddings, engagement shoots, headshots, corporate headshots.
Really anywhere you need to be beautified.
Yes, she does. Reach out to her on Instagram and Facebook at Beautified by Romina.
That's right. And if you would like to advertise on the show, it's very easy, right, Regine?
It's simple. All you have to do is email us at radioshowad, that's radioshowad@gmail.com.
That's right. We do the show live every week, people. And we also do the ads live week to week. What does that mean? It means you can personalize them week to week. Do you have an event, a sale, something happening at a particular time in a particular place? You let us know. We let your potential client base know in real time. It's a great way to build a brand new relationship with a brand new audience.
Yeah.
Get in touch. radioshowad@gmail.com. Hi, everybody. We're back once again with filmmaker, writer, producer, director, Andrea D'Amario. Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
We do have some chats, or
Ask.
a chat, sorry.
Yes.
Diesel 10 Production says, I'm late but worth it. What's up, peeps? It's your favorite Diesel with a claw is back. What you up to, fam?
We're just chatting here. We've been talking about film, talking about AI a little bit.
Talking about horror films.
Yep.
Specifically.
Oh, one thing I wanted to shout out. So on Monday night, I went to a concert. It was at Lee's Palace.
Okay.
And-
yeah, I saw on your story.
Yeah, and there were three artists performing. The first one was Danimal Cannon, who was like, he plays a lot of metal stuff, but he's a music composer for video games.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
So he produces a whole
That
bunch
is so up your alley.
Yeah. So he was just on his own. He was on stage with his guitar and he had his like computer, and then he had like a big projector screen behind him, and it was like, so he'd be like, this is the theme song from a game that I wrote, and then they'd be showing all these graphics of the game, and he's just sort of like so it was pretty sick. And then the second band was Power Glove.
That's a great shirt.
It's cool, right?
Is that Kirby? No.
Yes.
Oh.
Because these guys played
Okay.
all video game music and like cartoon music,
Oh, that's
but
cool.
all metal.
Makes sense to why you were there.
Yeah. But it was so, like, they opened with the Tetris theme song. So like, it's funny, it starts and like the show starts with, you can hear the music from the gameplay, like do 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 do, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hi everybody, we're Power Glove. Check this out." And we're like, do 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 do. It was like, I was like, this is amazing. It's like the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Of course.
And then so they played and it was all very like retro gaming. So they played some new stuff, but they played like the Smash Brothers theme song. They played the Power Rangers theme song.
I love that.
They played the X-Men theme song. It was just a whole bunch of video games and cartoons. And then the main event, the headliner, was Galactic Empire. And they come out, all of them wearing like Star Wars-esque helmets and gear.
That's awesome.
And they just played like Star Wars music for like the first half. And then they moved in a couple other, they played like other John Williams, like they played Jurassic Park. They played the Pirates theme. They played the Avengers theme
That
too.
is so
That's
right
really
up your
cool.
alley.
All in like heavy metal. It was like one of the best shows I've ever been to. It was so good. I just wanted to shut them out because they were so good.
It's funny because you went to like that concert, and then on Friday I went to a country concert. So it's like two different worlds. Luca, I can't say the last name. CN, here you try. You're better at names than I am.
Luca Cianferrani?
Did you say that right?
Think Cianferrani.
Cianferrani. Hi, Luca.
Sounds Italian.
I'm like, do you know this person?
Well, he asks, if Andrea and Scott ever collabed on a film, what would it be about?
That's a really good
I'm
question.
guessing it would become a horror film.
Okay, yeah. So
I know. AI taking over the world.
I mean, I feel like we kind of like that
but
could be a
you're gonna have like that band playing in the background.
Yeah. In fact, okay, yeah. So well, let's imagine
You heard it here first.
So you're a pretty big horror fan.
Yeah.
Although you like other stuff too. I don't know. Well, okay, let's pretend. Let's
What are
make
your
one right now.
thoughts?
Let's make a fake film right now.
Fake film right now. Let's see what we can
No
do.
pressure.
I kind of okay.
Let
Let's
him go first.
okay. You go.
I gotta think about this one.
I mean, I would say even like the AI that we've just been talking about. I feel like
you're
there
both
is.
scared of it.
I feel like there is a movie there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It would be like just what the.
Would be
And I think there is a horror movie there.
Yeah, 100%.
his gears are turning
I know.
right now.
My brain is on fire.
Yeah, yeah. Because like I'm even imagining like even that thing I was talking about, how like one day you're gonna have people who just go home, type in, give me a movie with me in it, starring this person that I like. You know, like there's like a Black
the light
Mirror.
bulb just went off.
Yeah, there's like a Black Mirror type world there. You know,
100%.
it's
In a world where
yeah,
there are no more movies. It is just AI.
yeah.
AI everything.
And the creepy thing is like I feel. Oh, I mean, maybe that's the scariest thing about horror is that you almost feel like we could be in that world, right? That's why I think your film was so interesting in that regard. And it's like, this is something that not only I wouldn't even be surprised if it's something that people have done.
Yeah.
Or have tried
I'm
to
sure
do.
they already
You know what I mean?
have.
Yeah.
Did you look into that to see if
I didn't look into that specifically.
based on a maybe true story?
But like, you almost feel like there's definitely people who somebody like could have been in the audience watching your film, being like, "That's such a good idea."
That's something that I want to do.
It is spooky season, so anything is possible.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess the only thing that saves people in that case is like, I mean, we don't know. Are the demons real? I don't know. Maybe they haven't it hasn't. Yeah.
It just means you have to watch the film to find out what
Exactly.
happens in the end.
Yeah. Do you guys believe in ghosts?
I do. I tend to. Yeah.
I get scared really easily, so for me it's like I want to say no so that I'm protected by it, but I do feel like family that have passed have visited me, but while I sleep. So like in my dreams is where I get visited.
Okay.
That's the only thing I will accept.
So not like the kind that you see in movies that are
not
like
Casper, no.
coming through the walls and stuff.
No.
Yeah.
Why, Scott? Tell us what happened to you
Oh.
yesterday.
In fact, actually, this is actually good. Yeah, in
Great
fact,
segment.
Great
Good segue.
wasn't even planned. Well, so I should tell. So I can't say obviously what it was. So yesterday I was on set. I was an actor in a film. Can't say anything about it. Obviously, it's in production. But I can say we shot it at Kingston Penitentiary.
Really cool.
For those who don't know,
It's like it's a maximum security prison that I think it closed about 10 years ago. So it's like a
Sounds
museum
about right.
a
now.
while ago, yeah.
But there are lots of rumors that it is very haunted, right? And it for obvious reasons, right? Like a lot of people have
Died in there.
died in there. Scary people have been in there. It's like yeah.
Did he? No, kidding. Sorry. Too soon. Sorry.
But it was like getting there. Have you been there before?
I haven't been. I've always wanted to go to check it out.
I'm good.
Now that I've been there, I'm like, yeah, I almost want to go back and do a tour and learn all about it. But as a filmmaker, being in that location, I'm like, whoa, I would love to film here.
Yeah.
Like it was so cool. But there was one. So we were filming in one
I
area.
don't get scared.
I don't know, maybe. But, so something creepy happened last night. So we were filming in sort of kind of a hallway area, whatever, where we're filming. And then in the middle, I guess what that area in the middle would be like, you know what it looked exactly like? Do you remember in Guardians of the Galaxy? Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy movies? You know the scene where it's like a big, they're in jail.
Yeah.
There's a big round room, and I think the guards sit in the middle.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
And then there's like
Maybe that's where
levels
they
going
filmed
up.
it.
I actually asked, it wasn't, but the layout of the room was exactly that.
Oh, okay.
It was like they had the guard station in the middle, and you look up, and it goes up like, I'm not sure, 5 or 6 stories, and then going out in all directions around this round room is like hallways with cells.
Oh, okay.
And most of them were just dark. So like we're in this room and like we're eating and we're all hanging out and it's a normal. You don't feel scared in like an environment surrounded by people and everyone's laughing. But then you look down the halls and it's just dark and it's like, that looks so creepy, right? And at the end of the night, we finished. I wrapped at like 2:30 in the morning, and but as we're leaving, I brought my video camera with me because I wanted to just get some footage of the place.
No.
Well, it's just like
That's awesome.
I'm in a haunted building at night. That's the other thing. When they
Were
first
you on night mode?
well, lights were on, but it was just like I remember when they first cast me, they told me where it's shooting. I'm like, wow, that's gonna be creepy. And then they told me, oh, it's gonna be a night shoot. I'm like, that's even really creepy, right? And so at the end of the night, we were leaving, and I was like, hey, do you think I could I just walk down like maybe one of these halls? I just want to see what
you
it
were
is.
asking for it.
Right?
Whatever happened to you, you asked for it.
And they were like, you can if you want. And then one of the other actors was like, okay, I'll be behind you, right? So I got this on camera too.
Oh,
so
God.
There's one hallway. You're looking down the hallway, and it's like lines of cell
Cells.
doors on the left side, right? And then there's all these like lights on the wall. It looks like a horror movie setting. Like it's exactly
It's a
what
perfect
you think.
spot for it, yeah.
So there's these lights. You know the type of lights I'm talking about? It's like it's a wall light, but there's like a piece of metal across it like this, and then like the little grid. So it's like the kind of thing you see in a horror movie, right? Like the whole place is built to look like that.
His dream place.
Yeah. Yeah. So I start walking into this hall, and I'm filming in front of me, and I took a look in the first cell. As soon as I passed the first cell and got to that first light, because those lights were on in between every cell, I didn't even notice it at the time. They told me about it after because someone else was filming from behind me, my phone. As soon as I got past the first cell, all of the lights started going flickering. And
that's awesome.
Yes. And they were flickering as I got there, and that's why the girl I was with was like, "Okay, that's as far as I go." And I was like, "What?" And then
You're on your own.
So then I got there, and then I'm looking down the hall, and it was weird. The air in there was like different. It felt all stuffy, and I genuinely got this feeling.
Figured out his next film.
Yeah.
Gears are turning.
But as I was standing there, I got this feeling of like, don't go any further.
Yeah.
Like I literally felt like it would be a very bad idea for me to take another step.
Yeah. The ghosts are like, get the F out
Yeah.
of here. It's bedtime. Like, go.
Yeah. So I just turned around and like left, right? And I kept thinking to myself after, I'm like, okay, did I just like, I know that they were scared, and then her reaction, maybe that got me scared. But there was a genuine feeling of like, dread is not the right word. It wasn't like terror.
Wait, did you tell your girlfriend what you did?
Well, because I got in at like
She's probably
6 a.m.
She's gonna be pissed off.
yeah.
She'd be like, "Why'd you bring that home with you?"
I might have told her briefly. I can't remember now. I was so tired when I got up this morning.
She's tuned in. She
Yeah.
knows now.
But it was like there was just this feeling of like it was just like I was like in my mind it was suddenly like it is a very bad idea if you keep walking.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it was a bad idea for you to even go there to begin with.
Go in there, yeah.
Look, when the team is like, "Yeah, if you really want to," that should have been like, shouldn't be here.
It's just a creepy setting. Like even honestly, even there, like I'm
Maybe
like, excuse me, where's the washroom?
Placebo.
That's the thing. Like, who knows? You know.
He was just like, oh, the
You
air
know,
was fine.
And there could be other reasons why the lights flicker. You know,
Yeah.
who knows? But it was just even in that place. Like I mean, when I first got there, it's like I had to go to the. They're like, "Where's the washroom?" Oh, it's just in the hall there. And as soon as I go in and I close the door, and it's a small room by myself, but I'm like, even being in there, I'm like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
You know, you're expecting like I'm looking in the mirror and there's gonna be somebody behind me. You know, but it was an awesome
If
location.
someone was like, "Oh yeah, we'll hire you to work at this venue," I'd be like, "No, I'm good."
I mean, the thing is, I would do it again. Like it's a cool
Of
spot.
course you would.
And like I'm saying, one filmmaker to another, you should fully go and check it
Yeah.
out. because like
I'm gonna drive over there as soon as we're done.
yeah, because apparently they do tours.
Take your
that are-
girlfriend with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't say where you're going.
No.
Like, oh, it's a nice day trip.
Yeah, exactly.
Get
Just
ready.
just a little drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 hours later, where are we?
Yeah, but so anyway, I don't know if I'm not sure what I believe in terms of ghosts, but I will say that was weird and it was a
That was
creepy
weird.
experience.
I stayed in a place in the Philippines where I don't remember what it's called, but essentially it's like a resort, and they take the homes from like historic figures of the Philippines, so like
Okay.
Jose Rizal and all those folks, and they literally lift their homes and bring them to this area and like
Interesting.
plot
Oh.
the houses there. So they do say that like the spirits and everything that were in those homes were lifted and brought to this village.
Wow.
I'm so glad I didn't know about that until after I left. But then it was funny because, not funny, but like the girls, because I was there for a pageant, some of them would say like, oh, so and so actually went in the evening to look around and like, and then the next day she was acting all crazy. So they're all, then I started getting freaked out and I'm like, I don't want to stay here anymore.
Wow.
Sounds
Yeah.
like fun.
So when you go to the Philippines, you should go check it out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The supernatural. I mean, you know,
I'm not about that life.
it's cool. Have you had any scary experiences like that?
I have. It's also part of where the film came from because I remember as like a teenager, I'd always do like Ouija boards with my friends, and
You're one of
we would
those.
do the we would do the stupid stuff and try to summon demons. Yeah. And I remember one time, so real or not, ghost or not, I'm not sure, but we did a Ouija board in a park by my house, and so we made our own. We put it together, like we wrote letters on a piece of paper.
Can you make
brought-
your own Ouija board?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had to buy it.
Well, I mean,
As long as you have letters on a piece of something.
Fair.
Yeah.
it almost feels like it'll work better because it's like it's from your. I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so we went to a park. It was like midnight, 1 in the morning. It was, middle of the night. Perfect time to do a Ouija board. So it was like a group of like 15-year-old boys being dumb, trying to summon a demon.
Did
And
you
I
film it?
decided, no, I wish I did,
Live
because
stream it.
it would have been extremely interesting. So I decided to be the medium and talk to the ghost because that's just how I am. And I was asking it to show signs that it's here because the board wasn't really working. We didn't make a great one. The piece that we made to slide wasn't really sliding, so nothing was really happening. And I remember I was asking like to show signs, and like the wind would blow and like chains would move, and I'm like, ooh, so scary. And then some of the kids would be like, F you ghost, and like trying to call it. I was like, don't do that. I'm like, I'm the one who's taking the heat here. And then I started getting annoyed because nothing was happening. So I was like, show us a sign that you're here. And right before I finished my sentence, the porta potty door opened and slammed shut.
Ooh.
And you can ask
Right,
anyone
bet.
who was there, but I don't know if it was an adult. I'm pretty sure it was a little girl came out of the porta potty, walked into the middle of the road, and just walked down. Like, wasn't like not the sidewalk, nothing, just
Why was
down
there
the
a little
road
girl?
and disappeared into the darkness. And we were just like, "Did you see that?" And everyone's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "It's midnight, 1 in the morning. Why is someone using the porta potty in the park?"
Yeah.
And no one, we were there for like over an hour, so no one went. We didn't see anyone go in. So it was
True, because you would have. She was just like hiding in there.
yeah, right.
And then this
She
is the
saw a
perfect
bunch of guys
time.
come in, and she's like, "I can't leave here."
Yeah,
right.
I'm
So
screwed.
yeah, so someone came out of the porta potty in the middle of the night while we were doing a Ouija board, and we all panicked and
Maybe she was
ripped it up, and
homeless, and that was her home.
and we just sprinted home.
Yeah.
It was a very scary time. But yeah, so I definitely believe in ghosts. Am I like
Ghost hunter?
I'm not a ghost hunter by any means, no. But yeah, I definitely think there's some sort of paranormal thing. I feel like there kind of has to be.
Have you ever used a Ouija board after that?
I think I have.
Oh.
But like an actual one, and same thing. Like, it would slightly move, but I never really had like that. Oh wow, it was moving by
It
itself.
was moving. Actually, no, my body
Yeah.
just twitched.
Yeah, exactly.
My arm was getting sore.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I'm good.
That would be very creepy. I also the thing I like about that story is, again, there's literally two ways to look at it. Because on the one hand, there's your guys' perspective of like, we were there for an hour, the door burst open, somebody was in there or not, I don't know, right? And then in my mind, I'm imagining the situation where like there was like this really small person, and they were like walking down the street one night, and they just really had to go, and they're like, oh my god, it's an emergency, and they went in there, and then they heard all these guys coming, and they were like, oh my god, there's all these guys coming.
Here.
I'm so scared. I can't. What if they're gonna be violent?
You
Exactly.
actually scared her,
and then
not.
and then they finally said, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here.
It stinks in here.
They ran for their life, and that's their story.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
She's on a podcast talking about it right now.
And finally, they're both horror stories from different perspectives.
Exactly.
These terrible men, they came and they were summoning a demon.
But
and I
like
had to get
hers
out of
is
there.
like a comedy version. Yours is like nope, or all the way.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome though.
Yeah, so that was definitely one of the scariest times that I've experienced. I've had times where like I've watched horror movies. I think it was like an Amityville horror movie, and I was sleeping at like my godmother's house, and we were watching it, and she was trying to scare me at night. But then I woke up in the movie, the whole thing's like the devil's hour is like 3 a.m. So I remember I woke up and I saw my clock went out and it was flashing. So I tracked back the time, and it was like 3 a.m. that it went out. So then I walked over and I didn't see anyone else's clocks were out.
Like the power
it was
didn't
only
go out.
mine. So I was like, did you come into my room and unplug the clock just to mess with me? And she's like, no. And I was like, interesting
She
how
totally
that
did.
100%. But I was like, interesting how my clock just decided to go out at 3 a.m. and yeah, it was very interesting. So
You know what I find doesn't help me with that is, well, I guess you guys have also the Sixth Sense, right?
yeah.
I remember there's that line in that movie where they talk about like, whenever you feel like if it gets cold all of a sudden in a room, or you feel that tingle,
I'm always cool.
that's yeah. But it's like where they're like, that's them. And I find now because of that line, it's like anytime I'm in a location like that where I'm in a setting where you walk in, and you feel that chill. It always puts me in that headspace. I'm like, that's them.
I just
Like,
thought of something.
what?
I'm gonna carry a portable fan with me whenever I'm here one day, and
Go
I'm like,
outside, we're talking about, oh, that's them.
They're close.
right?
Yeah. So I think that's why, like, when I walked into that at the penitentiary, and I walked into that hallway, and I felt the air was different. And again, maybe it's just different because it's a different
different hallway,
room.
yep.
But it felt so like thick.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I was walking
What it
into
could have
something.
been is that because it's an abandoned building, essentially, the air has not been turned on in that building in
Yeah.
a long time,
Yes.
and you just walked
Yeah.
where the air conditioner or whatever stopped working.
You know the thing they had in the washroom was on the sink. There's all these signs, and it was like, not potable water, do not drink.
Oh,
And then it
no.
even said, boiling this water will not make it potable.
Oh my god.
I was
You were
like,
definitely in a jail.
what is in this water?
Do I really want to
Yeah.
wash my hands right now?
But apparently, yeah, it's like what exactly? That's exactly what I thought. I'm like, wait, is this a good idea? But somebody
Did you wash
said,
your hands?
well, yeah. I mean, but somebody was like, they were saying that because the building is like it's not being used anymore, it's not being maintained. So I think what it is that like the pipes, they're not necessarily reliable. So like
Yeah.
maybe
Makes sense.
it could be that the water coming out is not quite perfectly anymore.
I actually saw on TikTok a few days ago, was it 2 days ago? At some point this weekend, where a couple, I think it was like HGTV, a couple had purchased an old abandoned jail cell and now they live there. Where the first half of the building is like their home, and then the back of the building is where all the jail cells are.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, what's the whole purpose of this?
I feel like, I mean, again, having now been to Kingston Penn, I think the idea of like
Would you live
living
one?
there,
No, absolutely not.
I feel like that's just not a good idea.
I don't even know why that was on my For You page, but it was. Maybe because you were going to the jail
like-
sale, so they're like, oh, let's prepare you for
We
Saturday.
bought a jail.
Yeah.
Fun renovation ideas.
They literally live in, like, I guess, like the main building of what the jail
Jail
cell is, and then they just left the back because I guess they're like their thing was like, oh, it has great hardwood flooring.
I've watched enough horror movies to know not to move into any possibly haunted places.
No.
Yes, just feels like you're
So
asking.
you need
for
to know
trouble.
when it was built, how long it's been there.
Yeah, yeah,
No, thank you.
Maybe spend one night, but I wouldn't live there.
No.
yeah. I could see myself doing one of those. Like,
Isn't there a hotel somewhere else in Ontario where it's like it is a jail? Why did I keep saying jail? A jail, and you actually sleep in the cells?
it might be.
Is it
might be
Ottawa?
Kingston Penn.
Is it?
It might be.
It might be.
Because I know, like, even when I was there, actually, they were closed by the time we finished. But
Research.
when I got there at like 9 o'clock, they were doing like nighttime tours, and they have like lights set up, and like it's like a pumpkin festival thing. You could go in and like
Interesting.
see the place. So like it's thing people can do. So they probably have things where you can go spend the night in the jail and stuff.
It's Ottawa. I was right.
Oh, well, there you go.
Very interesting.
This former Ontario jail has cells you can sleep in and terrifying ghost hunts. Yeah, no.
Sounds great.
No. It's called the Ottawa Jail Hostel.
Oh, there you go.
As long as I can bring my camera.
Yeah.
Wouldn't a hostel also
Yeah.
be a little creepy?
You mean because of the movie Hostel?
I've never watched it. But
Oh.
I just mean like in general to stay in a hostel.
I've stayed in one before. No, I didn't find them creepy. I mean, a hostel is just a hotel where you have a shared room with
Yeah.
people. I mean, there's
I've never
there's the potential for creepy things to happen because
Exactly.
you're
You're with
like the
creepy
movie.
people?
Did you see Hostel?
I honestly have never seen Hostel. It's like one of the only horror films that I haven't seen. But
Take that shirt off.
Hostel made me sick. Like
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was happening, but like because it's kind of like there's a lot of torture in that, and I'd never really watched that before.
yeah.
No.
And I remember, so the scene was happening, one of the torture scenes, and I suddenly started to feel like I was like, oh, I
I
think.
feel like you told me this story.
Oh, well, I was just like, oh, I kind of feel like sick, and I was with my girlfriend, right? Oh yeah, that's right, I told it on the show.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went to the washroom, and I thought I was gonna throw up, and I didn't think it was even related to the movie because I wasn't like scared as I was
food
watching
poisoning.
it, but I think my body was having some reaction.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I got out of that space, I felt, it's like it went away, and I was like, oh. I'm
You were
like,
anxious.
yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, the movie was actually affecting my body.
Yeah.
So,
thanks.
don't do well with that stuff.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Is that why you haven't watched it?
No, I've been interested in watching it. It's been on my list, but I guess it must be low on my list because I haven't thought about that movie in a while. But
It's quite, especially now, it's quite a few years ago. And that's the other thing, like there's so much stuff coming out all the time.
Yeah.
It's like you can never watch all of it. So it's just how it
Exactly.
goes. Yeah.
So speaking of spooky season, what are your plans for Halloween?
So I'm actually leaving next weekend to go to Japan.
Oh.
So for like most of October. So I think actually the rest of October. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I'm gonna be spending Halloween in Tokyo, but
Do they do Halloween in Tokyo?
I don't think it's that big of a holiday there. I think I read that it's become a bigger one because of like the theme parks, because they have like Disney and Universal and stuff down there. So the American culture is seeping in there, and they're starting to do some Halloween celebrations.
Wasn't there something that happened? I don't remember what country it was, but in Asia, was it like a year or two ago, where there was something that happened at Halloween, where I think they're having like a Halloween party. Was that in Tokyo?
I think it might have been like a street party or
yeah,
something like that,
and
right?
yeah.
What happened?
I don't remember. I just remember something happening in Tokyo.
I think someone got hurt. Something bad
Yeah.
happened at one of these street parties. So now it's kind of like, it's not bad. It's not taboo, but it's kind of.
I see. So it's
Yeah.
kind of made it like, oh, maybe we shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, maybe
that
we
kind of
shouldn't be
thing.
celebrating what Americans celebrate.
Let us know how it goes.
Oh, I definitely will.
Yeah.
What?
That sounds like it's gonna be an awesome trip.
Yeah, I think Japan's my number one like bucket list country, so I've been dying to go since I was a kid. So
Sweet.
it'll be a fun experience.
That's very cool. Yeah, we'll have to ask you about it next time you're on.
100%.
Should we move to our final segment?
Yeah.
All right, we have one segment left on the show.
It's the
Fantastic.
scariest of them all.
Yeah. It's,
Actually, it is. It really is.
yeah. Are you familiar with this?
I am not.
We should be barrel of monkeys for Halloween.
It's the barrel of monkeys.
That's what this is. Yes. I don't know. Well,
Just
that would be an
kidding.
interesting. Okay. Well, here I'll introduce it first.
Yes. let's do
Ladies
it.
and gentlemen, introducing this week's edition of the Barrel of Monkeys World Championship. So this is the classic game, Barrel of Monkeys. Came out in 1965,
Okay.
I believe. And the way we do it on the show here is every person who comes on, you want to do the demo?
Sure.
So it starts, we put 1 minute on the timer.
Okay.
Okay. We'll say 3, 2, 1, go. You grab the barrel. You pour out the monkeys. You pick up a single monkey. You use that monkey to pick up another monkey.
Oh, okay.
Use that monkey to make another monkey, pick up another monkey, and so on. And what you're trying to do is build a chain of monkeys. Maybe you'll end up with more than one on the monkey, could be. But you're trying to hook as many as you can and
Okay.
make this chain of monkeys. Get as many as you can in 1 minute. When the timer gets to 0, you can freeze and we'll count. So in this case, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monkeys.
Okay.
The monkey in your hand does not count towards your total.
Okay.
Any questions?
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense.
This
All right,
is.
yeah. Any questions? Any thoughts? So you've never played this before?
I don't think I've actually ever played this game specifically, no. But I've done stuff in a similar sense, I remember like for holidays, my family would do like candy cane things where you have to put a candy cane in your mouth and hook candy
maybe
canes.
he'll
All right.
be good at
So maybe
it.
some of that muscle memory will carry over here.
Maybe we should do that for
So-
Halloween, for Christmas.
Yeah, maybe. So this is the playing area.
Okay.
It's our
We
arena.
can just put that there. Yeah, if you want, you can shove the mic aside. So get yourself comfortable. Find a position that's where you can work. I will get the timer ready.
How do you feel?
Yeah, how are you feeling pre-game?
Terrified.
You should be. Okay, let me get the timer ready here. Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. Should get some scary music for you.
Well, we've got.
It is very scary.
It's pretty scary anyway. All
Am
right.
I dumping this out as a part of the timer?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'll say, okay, timer. Here we go. 1 minute. All right. 3, 2. Let me back this up a little. Sorry. No, you're good. 3, 2, 1. Go.
Nice pour, nice pour.
It's all right. You got this. Just stay calm and collected. There you go. He's got the technique.
Yeah, this music.
40 seconds remaining. All right, it's a bit of a challenging pour. He's
Oh,
trying
he
to find a
changes
way
his
in.
hand.
Switching hands. Switching up the grip.
Ooh.
Oh, we lost a monkey,
Okay,
but let's
it's
see.
okay. He
Get the
got it
monkey back.
25 seconds.
Find a way in. There you go. That's the right idea. There you go.
Ooh.
I like it. 20 seconds remaining. Okay, yeah. He's getting some leverage going there.
10 seconds. Careful, don't drop any. Careful, don't drop it. I'm so scared for you.
Time. All right.
That's not too shabby.
I say that's a pretty respectable first time ever playing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monkeys.
Not too bad.
I think. Did he beat Courtney,
I think.
or did he
they're
tie
tied.
Courtney? Let's take a look at the monkey standings here.
Not too shabby.
Okay, that's so small to read.
All right, so
Hang on, let me. I can bring it up as the text file so we can actually see it. But there, as
How do
you
you
can see
feel?
on the screen, yeah, post game interview. How you feeling about your
I feel
performance
good
there?
for a first time performance. You know, I'll come back stronger next time.
he's gonna practice at Christmas.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
the
I'm gonna be-
Canadians.
Spend the next little bit just practicing with my monkeys.
Love that.
Where is the monkey thing? Come
Do
on,
do
where is it?
do. All good. Alrighty, so let's see where are we at.
Can you see it better on that screen? I'm looking for this. I should have opened it before the show, but I kind of forgot.
Okay, so you had 5 monkeys.
5.
So you are tied with Sophia, Lex Tan, Chloe, Tian Sung,
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Kaylee, Cerezo, and
Karina. Karina Bianchini. So you're in good company there.
What's the most?
The most is actually all
All of
12
them.
monkeys.
Oh, wow.
Under a minute.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And it only happened not very long ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened. 2 people have done it. First, we had a guy named Michael Mazurkiewicz, actor, came on, got it at 12, all the monkeys. And after that point, we started now to count like how many seconds you have left.
Oh, okay.
So the winner now is Antoinette Targa, who has all 12 monkeys
At
with
50
like
seconds.
57. So it's like 3 seconds remaining.
Oh, wow.
Basically. So yeah, but you know, you've got time to build towards
Exactly.
that. to
This is
build
your first
towards
time.
that.
And when next time you come to our show, the most or the least amount that you can get on the board is 5. So you
Okay.
can never get worse.
That's right.
Even if you do worse, you can't get worse on the monkey standings.
That's good to know.
And Courtney did get 12. Sorry, 4.
No, he
4.
didn't.
Courtney got 4. Courtney got
Okay.
4. Okay, so hey, you beat last week's guest.
That's perfect.
Exactly.
and that's really what that was the important thing. That was the important thing. Yeah. Sorry,
That's what I was aiming for.
Sorry, Courtney. All right.
He's never coming back.
No, I've just lit the fire. I've lit the fire under him. There you go. All right. Andrea D'Amario added on there 5 monkeys. Mm-hmm. And
That concludes
this week's edition of the Barrel of Monkeys World Championship.
The monkeys will forever haunt you now,
Yeah.
especially that last one.
Yep. They can be, there's a lot of factors that go into
Yeah.
it. Like I find like the pour matters, like how they fall, because sometimes, especially if they're all laying flat, it's really hard to like
Yeah.
get in there. So it's just part of the game,
Yeah, gonna have to
Part of the game.
practice.
Yeah, get
All
training,
good.
keep training. All right. Well, before we wrap up, why don't you let people know? Actually, what's next for you? Do you have another film in mind? Are you writing something, or do you have an idea, or what? Yeah, what do you want to?
Yeah, so the short should be out, like I said, within the month. So that'll be a big release. I actually just finished a first draft for a feature that plays on the poem kind of concept.
Cool.
What do you mean by a feature?
Full length movie.
Full length film. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
wow!
like a 2 hour, like roughly full out, full movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close to a short.
Yeah, so I just finished my first draft for that, so that was a really cool process.
Awesome.
And yeah, I think I might shoot like a micro short in the meantime, just to keep the juices flowing. But yeah, that's kind of the next steps. I'd like to shoot a feature. I think that'd be really cool. All depends on funding, right?
Of
So
course.
that's the
Yeah.
most painful part. But yeah, that's where I'm looking to next.
Sweet.
That's cool.
And if people want to follow your film journey, let them know any social media or websites, anything you want people to know about.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Andrea D'Amario 10. Yeah, it's usually where I post the most, really. I stick to Instagram, LinkedIn, because I'm a businessy, for businessy aspects. But, Andrea D'Amario 10 on Instagram, that's kind of where you can find me.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Links for that are in the description down below, so you can follow there. Regine, where can people find you?
You all can find me on my YouTube channel for the pageant sit down. Very similar concept to the sit down with Scott Dion Brown, but more pageant focused. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok at It's Regine Alaina, which is right here. You can also, if you're looking for pageant coaching, you can find me on Instagram at pageantcoaching.regina It is a busy season still. If you're looking for coaching for this season or next, you can find me there. Link in my bio has all of my availability.
Nice.
Scott,
Yeah.
where can people find you?
You can find me right here. We're watching this very video, youtube.com/Scott Dion Brown. That's the best place. It's where you get the sit down. It's where you get vlogs. It's where you get.
Barrel Monkey.
It's where you're gonna get the mini vlog I'm gonna edit about my experience at Kingston Penn because creepy, perfect for Halloween, right?
There you go.
Yay. I have to look through the footage to see if there's enough there to actually make a vlog, but I still think that creepy thing happened. It was a cool moment.
Yeah.
Would it be funny if you didn't even capture that on your camera?
Be like, oh, it's gone. The footage is gone.
He didn't hit record.
No, the ghosts took it. Anyway, youtube.com/Scott Dion Brown. That's the best place. In fact, I just posted a vlog of my trip to Toronto Game Expo, so you can check that out on there. Check that out. You can also find me on Instagram and X at Scott Dion Brown. I post some more. There's photos and things on there, but it's really just a satellite for the YouTube channel. YouTube is really the best place. Follow the show, The Sit Down with SDB on TikTok, The Sit Down with SDB on Insta, Sit Down Scott on X. You can also find The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown on Facebook, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those places. Follow the show.
Yes, please.
Andrea, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm, like I said, really honored.
Thank-
It was a lot of fun.
How was your first podcast experience?
Very nerve wracking at first, but I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Very very relaxed. So I appreciate you guys. It was a lot of fun.
It's good.
Thanks for coming.
We were just chatting. In the
Yeah.
end, we were just chatting.
Just
no,
sitting down.
No, you were great. I liked it. Honestly, we've had guests, not naming any names, okay? But the times where you have guests where it's like, I feel like,
We're talking
Hey.
to each other more.
yeah, where I'm like, hey, this is a talk show, right? Like, we need you to, like, one-word answers are not going to work.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself.
Yeah.
Hi.
And so the fact, yeah. So having you on, it was great. We were able to just actually, like, talk about film, it was perfect. It was great.
Thank you
So
guys.
thank you.
Well, thanks for coming. This won't be your last time on the show, I'm pretty sure.
Definitely not.
You two are clearly working on something, so
Yeah, watch for that.
Yeah, watch
Make
for the
sure
AI
that's
horror
it.
film coming soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But yeah, anytime you want to come back on, if you've got something new coming out, or you
For
want to
sure.
talk about it, or just come to hang out, it's yeah.
Tell
definitely.
us about Japan on Halloween.
Yeah, that too.
100%.
Yeah. All right, people, thank you so much for being here. Hit the like button if you haven't yet. Subscribe if you're new. Make sure you follow all these people sitting here on social media. The way we like to end the show, you can grab your mug. You know how I started the show
Yeah.
with the camera coming out of the mic? You can like say your goodbye, say however you want to, and then you can send the camera at the mic. All right,
Huh?
so everybody,
Send
thank
the
you guys.
camera at the mic.
Send the
mug to
send
the
the
camera.
mug. That's
He's
probably a better
tired.
way to
He's
do it.
3
Yeah.
hours of sleep.
Yes, exactly. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. We'll see you all next week, or probably next week.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Potentially.
Thanksgiving. We're figuring that out. Maybe if not 2 weeks, we'll see. Thanks for being here, Andrea. Take it away.
Thank you guys for having me, and this was the Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown.
Woo.